Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Oh, sorry. That's for a Democrat show.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver Common Sense Show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense Show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, making sense out of the senseless. And it's not an easy task. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a live broadcast, go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream. Don't forget to subscribe to the live stream. And lastly, if you want to support the show or support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one. Click on the Reaver store. Pick yourself up a t-shirt. You can pick up SHR Media shirt items, shirts, or you can pick up a Southside Mutt. Shut up, Crash. I'd like to introduce everybody. Crash called in as normal for Wednesday now. Shut it, you jackass.
all right, we're already censored.
Oh, yeah, censorship. Woohoo!
Well, hey, you know what? Somebody's speaking the truth. 90% of the time, they're going to piss somebody off, which means it's going to be censored.
Yeah, well, not on our show. We don't censor anything we say. And,
Oh, I didn't mean censorship. I meant we had to put the, how's that damn thing called?
the bleep?
No, that warning thing about you're going to hear people cussing.
Oh, that was on. You were on mute at that point. That was on. That warning was already given.
Oh, you said you don't censor. Mute is a form of censorship.
Oh. It's just fun to mute you. Especially when you think you're not on mute. All right. So, what was it that had you all pissed off before the show when we were talking? Now I forgot. The vaccines in the schools and Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Remember, you're getting off.
I was hearing you, and all of a sudden you broke down.
All right. Not censor. Now you got censorship on my mind. The vaccines.
Yeah, all the bull. Yeah, we were talking just before the show. We were talking about vaccines. I don't even remember exactly how we got onto it, but
22% of the resettled refugees have tuberculosis. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Anybody in the American school system knows that in order for your kid to go to school, you have to provide these records saying that they've been vaccinated against all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's been that way for a long time. I mean, we pretty much eradicated certain disease processes because of these mandatory vaccines.
But wait a minute.
In certain situations.
They're coming back. They're making a comeback, most of those.
They are making a comeback due
Why?
to anti-vaxxers.
Well, it's not because you got anti-vaxxers, but because you got people coming from another country illegally that don't have the vaccines that are bringing the diseases to the United States, where their area is immune to those diseases. So they're bringing in diseases that shouldn't be brought in, and just as they're getting diseases that they're not immune to that we are as Americans.
But if you look at, okay, so if I have somebody that, they come in from overseas, and they've got some disease that I'm vaccinated against. Well, they've got a natural immunity to it or whatever, so because they're used to it. It's not really hitting them overly hard. I'm vaccinated against it. But then you've got the anti-vaxxers who don't believe in any of the vaccinations. Let's not do it. We don't want them. Well, their kids end up getting sick. So now we've got small little outbreaks. You end up with small clusters. Now, most people, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's locally isolated. The problem is, as this stuff grows, things mutate. And you end up with things that become resistant to drugs. They become resistant to things.
I need a new drug.
It's becoming more and more commonplace with this whole, well, I have the right not to vaccinate my kid. You know what? You're absolutely right. You do have that right. But you do not have the right to put my kid in harm's way. Now, my kids get their vaccines. And I've had the debate with my wife about some of them because some of the newer ones wasn't really sold on the science yet. Okay. But we vaccinated our kids. Haven't really had much issue with it. One of my kids was an asthmatic. For the most part, she's grown out of it. She ends up with pertussis, whooping cough, which nobody's ever had in our area. And I couldn't even tell when the last time was. Come to find
Back
out,
in 1842.
He didn't. His mom, we were actually talking about it at a school event about how there was this outbreak of whooping cough in the school. Tons of kids caught it. Come to find out that it was one of the parents, didn't believe in the vaccine, didn't believe in Western medicine, and said it was her wife didn't do any of the vaccines. School said the kid couldn't come to school. She was going to file a lawsuit. So they bowed down to her and said, okay, fine, he can come in. Came into school sick. She refused to pick him up. She had other things going on, or work, or whatever the hell it was. So
Her Eastern lover was coming.
He exposed a couple of students who got it. They exposed more. They exposed more. My kid's on constant respiratory meds now. I had a crap load of medical bills. All because of one irresponsible pain-in-the-ass person. But what happened to her and her kid? Not a fucking thing. Because I can't impose my will on her, but she can impose her will upon me and my family. Bullshit. I call it bullshit.
Shenanigans. Evil, evil, evil shenanigans.
Yeah. God damn it, my blood pressure's going up again. In Jersey.
Well, that's because of old age just setting in. Dude.
Shut up. I'm not old. I'm seasoned. Or,
burnt. Overcooked?
I'm fermented. No, not fermented. I don't want to go with that one.
Overcooked?
Oh, what?
Overcooked, burnt. We're going to get off that because that really can go sideways.
What's that?
The comments off of that can go really sideways. So we're going to just... I'm about to throw a spike strip out in front of my house. I got one of my neighbors that thinks it's a dirt track out front and is riding his dirt bike up and down the road, and I just keep hearing, the two-cycle motor revving at 1,000,000 miles per hour going up and down that friggin' road. Oh, my God.
That's to drive you freaking insane.
Yeah, it's... And as everybody says, you have the right to do what you want until it starts to infringe on my right. And here he goes again.
And you know what? My way of looking at it is, there's got to be a median. I mean, the problem is you got one side that is pushing that, okay, well, we have to make sure all these people have all of the rights that they want. Fuck you. All these people need to have their stuff. Well, that's not the way it's supposed to work. Now, should my rights infringe upon you? No. And neither should yours upon me. Now, of course, there's going to be times like, what's the biggest one that keeps coming up? It's freedom of speech. Well, that's hate speech. No, it's freedom of speech. It's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of opinion. Now, there's a
just
fine
because
line
you don't agree with it
doesn't mean that it's hate speech. But they're pushing that agenda. We have safe spaces in college. Yeah, I got your safe space. Get the fuck back in mommy's basement. That's your goddamn safe space. You want a safe space? Go move back in with your parents. That's all there is to it. And they're freaking teaching our kids all this crap. You can't insult me. You can't say no. Guess what? Your feelings are going to get hurt. I got my, what is it? The junior soccer leagues. Well, the coach is mean. The coach is yelling. No, the coach is not yelling. The coach is talking in a loud voice that's loud enough for everybody to hear, and they are correcting inappropriate behavior. Well, they're not supposed to yell at everybody. It's hurting my feelings. Suck it up, Buttercup. It's called a competitive sport for a reason. And it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like I have to unteach. I have to get my kids to unlearn half the lip card crap that they get in school so they can actually become upstanding members of society at one point and stand on their own 2 feet. God, it's enough to drive me nuts.
Well, that's
all right. Well, now you got to talk because I'm going in to grab cigarettes.
Smoking's bad for you.
Shut up.
I just thought I'd let you know. It's.
Hey, look. Nobody likes a quitter, and that's what you are.
It's. Oh, would you like a slushy with that too? It's with the teaching of the kids anymore. It's not teaching; they're indoctrinating them and changing the way America is doing things. Because our new leaders coming up will be taught that you don't have these rights, and that's the easiest way to do away with freedoms is to teach the younger generation that you don't have them. And it's... Here, we'll turn it down a little bit. And I don't know what the solution is, but one of them is, to get the friggin' federal government out of the education system. It's that simple. They're not teaching, they're indoctrinating. And it's friggin' amazing how the left does not see all this going on. I think more along the lines, they see it going on. They just don't give a shit because it's their agenda that's being taught. So to them, it's acceptable. Now, if we were doing the indoctrination of the right, you have to be religious, you have to be this, you have to be that, then they would have a problem with it. And it's infuriating. And exactly for kind of like your freedoms, it's within that situation of Crash with his daughter. You have the right to send your kid to school, but you have to use good judgment and not send them when they're sick where, it's going to cause others to become sick. Someone's back in their car putting their seatbelt on.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I'll listen to you ramble.
Oh, not me. I don't ramble. I don't go off topic ever.
No, we go on the topic that we feel like at that particular second in time. You just don't know what topic we're going to pop onto, but we're always on topic. Like I'm never late. I always arrive exactly when I meant to. Yeah, I mean,
Hang on, no fair, Kel. No fair. No fair. You can't go on vacation. I can't go. You can't go.
wait, what?
Kel says she's going on vacation at the end of June.
Hey, where are we going?
You go the take me along, and I go, you can't go because I can't go. Damn, we're turning liberal. I think I'm turning liberal. I think I'm turning liberal. I really think so. Do. Oh, heading to England.
Yeah, the freaking, that liberal mentality. Whatever you've got, I'm entitled to it.
They got freezing cold snow.
Now that I wouldn't mind them sharing from time to time. I like the damn snow.
You didn't get enough of it?
What, get enough of snow?
This year?
It depends.
Because they're still getting it. We got Jenna and Kel in the chat room, and both of them got snow this week.
No shit. Nice.
Global warming, gotta love it. Well, you see, that was caused by global warming. You laughing was caused by global warming. You know, a mouse just farted. Global warming. How's your day going?
Fun and games till global warming starts up again.
Well, it never stopped. That was the plan of global warming. It took a pause. It took a short vacation. And then
took a vacation. What, has it got union labor laws?
Yes. The global warming has unionized. It only has to give off warm weather every 15 minutes. Then it gets a 2-hour break. Don't forget that it has to go to its meeting. So right there, it has to leave 5 hours early. Oh, I'm going to get some. Remember, all hate mail goes to crash@reaver.one.
There it goes. All the union guys are going to start yelling at me now.
Exactly. Piss off the union guys.
Hey, look, it's not going to be the first time I've gotten hate mail from a bunch of union guys. Not the first, won't be the last.
Nope. Well, there goes when
happens.
We're going to have a small population of listeners that aren't going to listen. They don't like unions. Who else would?
Union. They're not Christian. They're not conservatives. They're nothing.
We're assholes. I'm surrounded by assholes.
He's an asshole too, sir. Major asshole. I flipping love it.
Oh, God, now we're doing Mel Brooks movies. Oh, shit.
Yeah. That's where this is going to end up going.
What's funny is there are probably a lot of people that are like, what the hell are they talking about? Oh.
Yeah, well, I made a reference to, I made a Spaceballs reference towards the end of last year when I was at home. Remember how, whatever, I made a joke. It was a Spaceball reference. My wife chuckled at it. One of my kids looks at me and goes, I don't get it. Looked at my wife, she just looks at me and goes, movie night tonight, Spaceballs it is. We got to educate them.
Oh, we were on YouTube last night as a family. Hey, no singing that song. That's the ringtone for Crash. Gina's singing your ringtone in the chat room, by the way. And I don't think she knew that was your ringtone.
I'm an asshole.
I like to drive slow in the ultra fast lane while people behind me are going insane. I'm an asshole. No, but last night, me and my wife threw on YouTube onto the main TV, and we were watching old Carol Burnett shows. Tim Conway, Harvey Keitel, just totally losing it. It was hysterical. But it's time for a break. Say that again. Oh, sounds like he's at his work. We'll be right back after this message. You're listening to the Reaver. Wrong one. I thought I set it up and I didn't. There we go. This is the right one. You're listening to the Reaver. No, yeah, it is. I'm just totally off key right now. You're listening to the Reaver Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I am making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch broadcasts, that's easy. Go to Reaver.1. Click on the live stream. Don't forget to subscribe to that live stream. If you want to support the show or support SHR Media, go to Reaver.1. Click on the Reaver store. Don't forget, it's very important, don't forget tonight, 8 p.m., you can catch myself and Crash on the Southside Mutt Show with its host, the Jersey Boys, of course. That'd be me, Jersey Joe, and Crash. And unfortunately, Crash had to get going, so he will no longer be with us. But again, he will be back tonight. I still got to figure out what to do with the show tonight. And it's like every week I got to figure out, the topics. I pick out all these topics to talk about, and we talk about none of them. And the last 2 weeks, I kind of given up on writing anything for the show and really didn't have anything in front of me. But yet, we start insulting each other, and somehow we find that we're going to talk about things. And it's really weird. But tune in tonight if you want to listen to two assholes insult each other and then talk about politics here or there. So, last night was primary night. It was a minor Tuesday. Not a super Tuesday, but a minor Tuesday. For the Republicans, it was Oregon. Dang it. And Trump won. It was kind of weird because I was looking at the results, and it was like 53,000 people voted for Cruz, and 52,000 voted for Kasich. And I don't know if they're trying to make a statement or if they're just not paying attention. I don't know. It makes me wonder about things anymore. And then there was two for the Democrats' side. Oregon and Kentucky. And Sanders took Oregon, and Clinton took Kentucky, which is really weird. I mean, I figured Colonel Sanders would take Kentucky, if any place. But I guess they don't like him in his home state. And before I get any hate mail, it's a joke. Relax. So that's where we're at. Trump needs less than, I think he's 80 delegates, roughly. And Clinton needs about 100. Damn it. All of a sudden, it's just started yawning. I have no idea why. It's going to be one of those shows, I think. It's kind of a laid-back day. Not a lot happening. There's stuff happening, but just not a lot. Rand Paul came out, and he is now endorsing Donald Trump as the nominee. He told several news agencies that he will honor his pledge to support the presumptive 2016 GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump in the general election against former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and likely the Democrat nominee in November. Paul, along with every other 2016 GOP presidential candidate, signed a pledge that they would back the nominee in the general election. I took a pledge when I ran for president to not run as an independent candidate and to support the Republican nominee. I stand by that pledge, and I think anybody who signs their word to a document ought to take it seriously before they sign a document. So I don't think there's any question that those who sign the document ought to say, you know what, I honor the pledge. Listen, you sign, it's not, and I take oaths seriously because as EMT we've taken oaths. But they signed on a piece of paper that they would back and not run a third party. So you got all these, some of the leftovers that are crying about Trump, but you signed a paper. They went wholehearted after Trump to sign this paperwork because when it was in their advantage, that paperwork was the end-all, be-all, and if you didn't sign it, they were going to throw people out of the from running for president. But now that Trump's pretty much won it, now there's a few that want to whine about the pledge. And they want to forget that they signed it. Pretty much the same ones that really pushed. I mean, Jeb Bush was one of the mouthiest ones about the pledge, but now he's not endorsing Trump. Yeah. Sour grapes. Sour grapes. Their fucking manginas are itching right now. It pisses me off. But several others, Marco Rubio, Rick Perry, Jindal, Huckabee, Carson, Christie, have followed through on their pledges to support Trump as the nominee. And you can add that to the list. Rand Paul. And others like former Governor Jeb Bush, former Hewlett-Packard CEO Carly Fioroni, Pastoroni, whatever her name is, and Senator Ted Cruz have yet to do so. Now that Trump has won and he has lost, Bush has said he does not intend to back Trump over Clinton. So it kind of proves, aren't we glad that we did not nominate that piece of shit, because he's proven he cannot keep his word. Now what is even funnier is I always heard the jokes that George Bush was the retarded kid. No, I'll put forth that Jeb Bush was the retarded one. He even, oh my God, he acted, he had no energy, he had... Yes, their manginas need man ponds. It's sour grapes. Jeb Bush thought he had that whole nomination locked up, and all the supposed experts were yipping in his ear. And guess what? He lost. We, the people, did not want that. You have even the John McCain's daughter, who doesn't like Trump because of what happened at the beginning of the campaign. And it's her right, and I can respect it. But as she said, she's not fighting against Trump. He is the presumptive nominee. That's my old line. But Trump is the nominee, and she's not fighting against it. She doesn't want to hear about third party. Now, here is the daughter of John McCain. Ouch. I had an itch in my eye, and I stuck my finger in it. It shows the true person that Ted Cruz is. It shows the true person that Jeb Bush is, and the true person who Carly Fioroni is. That they can't keep their word to the pledge, and you can come up with whatever fucking excuse you want to come up with. It all levels out to, this showed who they really are, that they can't even keep a pledge that they signed. It did not say, I'll pledge to support only if this person didn't hurt my feelings. I'll only support if this person doesn't beat me. It shows the true personality of Ted Cruz. It shows the true personality of Jeb Bush and Carly Fioroni. In November, I will vote. I will not vote for Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton, but I will support principled conservatives at the state and federal levels, just as I have done my entire life, Jeb Bush said in a Facebook post when Trump became the presumptive GOP nominee. For Republicans, there is no greater priority than ensuring we keep control of both chambers of Congress. I look forward to working hard for great conservatives in the state and House in the coming months. That shows how great of a person Jeb Bush is. I'm going to leave that one alone, Jenna. I'm not going to touch that one because that one comment can get me in trouble. That means Bush has broken his pledge to the Republican Party, while others like Cruz have yet to fulfill or break it. More from Paul's latest exclusive interview will be coming, and I'll see if I can get the sound bites. Now, this one, damn it. My mind's going in a different direction right now. I got to get my thoughts back together. I'm just off on a different subject right now in my head. But a man has been arrested. He was hiding a camera in the Indiana State University bathroom. He identifies himself as a photographer, an exotic photographer, so we shouldn't arrest him. A man has been arrested and charged with 20 counts of voyeurisms for hiding cameras in a bathroom and locker room on the campus of Indiana State University. A court has slapped Nick Pledger, 22, with 20 counts of voyeurism after police charged him with hiding cameras as well as taking upskirt shots of women on campus. The Virgo Superior Court also ordered the suspect to stay off the campus and granted a no-contact order for ISU in the victim's request by deputy prosecutor. An investigation based on tips to ISU police was launched into Pledger stemming from incidents beginning in 2015. The tipster reported that video of women taken in the ISU locker room and other areas of the school ended up online. What did you think he was going to do with it? I mean, I don't even know where to go with that. But officials discovered that Pledge gained access to the women's locker room when his wife, a former ISU volleyball player, gave him the entrance code. Other videos showed scenes taken in the school's student rec center, the swimming pool, and hot tub area. Sorry, I'm reading a side article that Kel just posted. Check that out in a minute during the upcoming break. I'll take a look. I see Army of Darkness, and I immediately think of Evil Dead movie series. I love the Evil Dead movie series. All right, and at the alleged allegation and arrest, Pledger was released from the ROTC program and expelled from the university. The suspect's trial date has been set for October 24th, and he has been released on his own recognizance until that date. I wonder if his wife's still with him. And how pissed off is she that she gave up the code and she being charged with accessory to his crimes. He wouldn't have been able to commit these crimes without her help. I'm sure there's some Democrat groups that are going to jump around and try to protect this guy as they normally do. And it seems like that's all they do. They protect these criminals and say screw you to the victims. They do it all the time. And I've seen it with my father shooting. I mean, they don't give a shit about the victims. And because it was a workman's comp case, my dad had to sue to get some of the medical requirements that was needed. And they went so far as to try to screw my father over, they hired a doctor that showed up and turned around and said there was nothing wrong with my dad. He wasn't even shot. And that man still had, well, I don't know about now. It's been 30 years later. But the man should have lost his license right there because that was a bought testimony. You cannot sit there and say he wasn't shot when, the police, the surgical teams, everything, there was solid proof of it. And these liberals always like to protect the criminal. They like to protect the insurance companies. And whenever there's a victim involved, they get the worst end of the deal because, well, there's not many people on their side. And I see it too often, and I can see, these liberal groups trying to come together and, to try to protect this guy, give him some kind of sexual classification, and he has a right to do all this because that's his inner person. I don't know. I'm getting sick of it all. And I know I'm not doing the greatest today. It's disgusting, vile, and it's the direction that this world is heading in. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverbcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. Trying to make sense out of the senseless, and it's a daunting task. The Jersey Takeover has arrived. And we are at 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please remember to join the chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch broadcast, go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream. If you want to watch live stream, do not forget to subscribe to that live stream. If you want to support the show and go to Reaver.one. and click the Reaver store. You can even support SHR Media. So, I'm laughing watching the chat room right now. Let me see something so I don't give wrong numbers. Might have more storms. Yep, we got more storms coming in today. About 4 o'clock. That's why I'm all tensed. But right now it's 84 and partly cloudy. And like I said, it's getting that season, so the 3, 4 o'clock we'll have storms. It's beautiful. Nice sunny day that you can go to the beach, lay on the beach. I'm watching the chat because I know what Jen is talking about, but I'm not going to say it out over the air. What I want to get into, and it's going to be continue tonight. Tom Steyer, this jackass, and I really despise this man. He champions for global warming. He's one of these guys that have money into the trucking of the oil from Canada down to the Gulf. He's one of the reasons that Obama killed the Keystone XL pipeline. Why? Because if they put that pipeline in, Tom Steyer's and a couple others like Warren Buffett would lose millions and millions of dollars a year because they're trucking of that, and not just through trucks, but through trains. And somehow they think it is safer, even though there's been multiple major accidents with the trucking or freighting of the oil from Canada down to the Gulf. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but a double-lined pipe would be a lot safer. We already have a pipe that's in there, but it's getting old, and they want to replace it for safety. And I just can't fathom what the issue would be to be, okay, I want to replace this pipeline. I want to replace it with a bigger but safer pipeline. The only thing I can come up with is, well, these financiers of Obama would be losing out in billions of dollars. And the question of this article is, Tom Steyer's helping the planet or helping himself? Well, for number one, global warming is a fucking farce as far as it goes. It is one of the largest pyramid scams that has been put onto the people. I mean, we have people that have gone... Exactly. The Keystone Pipeline would have created so many jobs in America. Canada and the companies had said, listen, we promised that all the jobs, all the personnel for it would come from America. All the parts that would be needed to make the pipeline would come from America. They would make their money on the back end. We would get a percentage of the profit from the pipeline after it was built. And it takes more than 20 people to keep a pipeline running. And if it's so dangerous, tell me what's dangerous about the Alaskan pipeline. Because that seems to be very safe transport of oil. I haven't heard of any major issues. And that one goes... I couldn't even fathom, I guess, exactly how far that stretches. So this man is not out for the planet. He's out for himself. He's out to make more of a profit. He started out as a hedge fund manager, and he's expanded. And I love these people. They get rich, and they sign these pledges that they'll give away that they're going to give away their hard-earned money. They never do. They might give away some, but they're not giving away what they claim. I'm trying to pull up. This is a man who has, and in this coming election, he's offered another $100 million to politicians. And he has done this. He did it in 2014. And the only thing the politician has to do is give his word that he is going to push the policies that Tom Steyer wants for the global warming farce, which to me, you're buying somebody off to buy your policies being pushed. And I thought that was illegal. And I love how both parties are guilty of this. They get people that it's the way they word things. You know what they mean. You know what they're saying, but the way they put it, it stays within the realm of being legal. And this is one of those men that really gets under my skin. He really gets under my skin because he's pushing this false narrative. And it's falling apart. It really is. This, sorry, I'm looking at his life history and... In California, there was a resolution put forth by the conservatives, and it had to deal with changing the electoral vote in California. Tom Steyer spent nearly $1 million fighting it because it favored the Democrats. That right there tells you. And I find it funny, when the maps favor Republicans, next thing you know, all these voter maps go to court and are forced to change because it's in favor of actually Republicans. But when it's in a Democrat favor, they cry like little bitches and complain and, oh, it shouldn't be in court. This has been a map that's been for a while. I get tired of this fighting the way it goes. Let's make these maps of voter districts and end it. That's where the map is, can't be changed anymore, and go forth. Because every election year, I see these lawsuits popping up, and it gets nearly ridiculous, everything being fought. And you have people like Tom Steyer that fund this crap. And, okay, there was a Proposition 23 back in 2010 in California. It was concerning California's environmental legislation. And he donated $2.5 million to help keep it, to do away with the proposition. And he was getting pissed off that out-of-state people, which he is an out-of-stater, were funding activists that were backing the measure. So what he did, since he was mad that there was out-of-state activists funding the measure, he bumped it from $2.5 to $5 million he gave for this measure as a outside activist, which is, it just, oh my, the double standards these idiots have. It's and I'm split, Jenna, on that. The medical marijuana, it does have municipal purposes. It does. It's been on classification for years, and the only problem that I have is a lot of times the doctors abuse it and give it out to anybody, everybody. You have a bunch of people that basically they just want to get high, and they come up with all these medical reasons that they should be on it and classifications, which then they find out that allows them to be disabled. So we got a bunch of people on disability that are not disabled but just want to get high. That I'm against. I have no problem with the medical end of it if it's actually medically necessity. It's the abuse, and a lot of states you could see the abuse that has gone on with it. I don't know on the medical marijuana. I'd like to see it, but it has a tendency to get abused. Because I'm against recreational marijuana, and yes, you can jump all over me all over you want, and compare it to alcohol. If I go out and get drunk, I don't get you drunk by me drinking. But by smoking, you can get me high without me realizing it. And that can get people locked up, car accidents, so forth and so on. Okay, because Florida, we have a pill where they break down the marijuana to the components that are medically relevant, and they have a pill. That I don't mind. It's, I don't know. It just seems like a bunch of people just want to get high and do whatever the hell they want. What is it, Colorado or Washington State has that? And they've had kids who see these candy canes, think it's candy canes, and it's laced with pot. And these kids are getting shipped to the hospital because they don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know. There's not an easy answer either way on it. And medically, I don't have an issue with it, especially the pill form. The oils, I can understand that. And I know it has some medical effects. It's the abuse that comes with it that I'm looking at. And liberals, that's one thing they do. They try to abuse all the laws and stretch them and take them to the extremes. And we see it all the time. And that's where I get worried about it. It's not the medical use. Cocaine has a medical use. It really does. It's a great numbing agent when it comes to the eyes. They use it in eye surgeries. They have a cocaine solution that they put on your eye that numbs your eye. Speed is used for narcolepsy. There's a pill that for narcolepsy, it's basically speed that they give you. And please, there is instances where it's needed, and I'm just afraid. Florida right now, we're looking at, there's a movement to try to legalize pot, period. One of the local cities or counties is basically going to make it where the police officers are not going to be arresting anybody for pot charges anymore. And I don't think that's a good thing. I really don't. I don't know. It's one of those things I'm split on. But I'm not split on that. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. And we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cough stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. Trying to make sense out of senseless. Today's one of those days I don't think I am doing it. We've expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com and click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a live stream, perfect. Go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream. Click on the subscribe button to keep up to date. Do you want to support the show? You want to show off that you're listening to the show? Perfect. Go to Reaver.one, click on the Reaver store, and you can pick yourself up a Reaver of Common Sense t-shirt, a SHR Media t-shirt, a Southside Mutt t-shirt. You can even get beer cozies, iPhone covers. I got just about everything. So check it out. More on Tom Steyer's. He is using his wallet to try to elect candidates who will promote policies and energy plans that agree with him. And that plan is green. As previously reported, he spent nearly $75 million in the 2014 midterms. And that's on a low end. There's some that are saying up to $100 million he spent on the 2014 midterms. And it tends to top that for the 2016 election cycle. I can't believe someone has that amount of money just to toss around. Steyer's has held fundraisers for Hillary Clinton, is a Clinton Foundation donor. Along with research of the writer, the researcher Christina Lektos, whose green corruption file was recently praised on Michael Savage's show, has repeatedly addressed Steyer's involvement through his work with President Obama's green energy crony corruption scandal. Anytime there is a pot of government money available for green energy, it was founded that Steyer's name is attached to it. Steyer's claims to have no self-interest, and I can claim that I'm the Pope. It doesn't make me the Pope. The Los Angeles Times quoting him as saying, we are doing something we think is good for everyone, and everyone meaning himself and his bank accounts. Yet, as Forbes columnist points out, he is spending his fortune lobbying for short-term political gains rather than into research and development aimed at making renewable economically viable. While he may say what he is doing is good for everyone, the policies he's pushing are good for him, not for everyone. Hey, Dan, what's going on? The Washington Post called this man the man who has Obama's ear when it comes to energy and climate change. In California, where he has been a generous supporter of green energy policies, he's helped pass Senate Bill 350 that calls for 50% of renewable energy by 2013. California's current mandate is 33% by 2020, which California 3 investor-owned utilities are reportedly already well on their way to meeting. It is no surprise that California already has some of the highest electricity rates in the country. Analysts released last week found that states with policies supporting green energy have much higher power price. In October, Steyer spent six figures for an ad campaign calling for the next president to adopt a national energy policy similar to California. Here in Florida, back in 2014, I believe it was, for the election of the governor, and I've talked about this multiple times, and she was bitching and complaining, this woman was, and accusing the governor of raising the electric prices in the state of Florida. She wanted him removed immediately because her electric bill keeps going up. They're in cahoots. He's getting paid off. Well, when I pointed out, when we talk about all this green energy, which she was very much for, and showing her how it's causing the prices to skyrocket, and all these EPA regulations that's making it, harder and harder for these coal production plants to operate, all of a sudden it clicked in her head, and I give her credit. It actually clicked in her head, and she went, it's not his fault. And these policies are coming from these green groups. And sorry about that, Jenna. My condolences. Jenna saying she was born and raised in California. I always wanted to go there growing up, but now, no, I'll stay away from California. I know there's a high amount of Republicans in that state, but It's surprising for the amount of Republicans that are there, the amount of conservatives that are there, that it's such a liberal state. It's kind of scary. And that's one of the things I was glad to get away from when I moved from the Northeast Corridor down here to Florida. I was moving into a conservative state. But now we have that major influx of Northeasterners, and they're kind of destroying the state. This green energy is not what it's cracked up to be. It's not producing the rates of energy that coal plants can for as cheap of a price. It's raising the costs extremely. It's not that viable. And there's all these wildlife impacts that it's now doing, whether you go solar or you go wind. There is a bunch of wildlife impact going on. And then the fines that are levied against them because of that wildlife impact that they knew about when they pushed these alternative energy, which it just boggles my mind that they have that. You know, they push for it, then they punish them for stuff they know is going to happen. Stuff that they cannot control. They cannot control and stop these birds from flying into the windmills. You know, and you can't stop them on a dime, you know, to keep the birds from being injured. The solar, especially, I forget the plant and what it's called, but it hits mirrors, the sun does, and it's redeflected to a central point, which then, with all the mirrors pointing at it, it boils water, turning into steam. You have the steam engine. But what it does also is it's attracting birds into that bright light, and when they cross the beam, it's, you know, they're crossing that beam and it's killing the birds. I don't know what the answer is, but this alternative green energy is not the answer. It's not ready. I mean, they've been trying to develop it for, 20, 30 years now, and it's still not ready. But because we have a president that was funded by these groups that is now doing basically kickbacks to these groups, and how many of the solar plants that were given federal funding are now belly up, and the owners walked away with millions of U.S. tax dollar money, and the companies are gone. I think it's all but like 2 or 3 of them are left. And we're talking, it was something like 20 of them. So how is that helping the American people? How is that helping the quote-unquote environment? Because all this green energy is not doing anything. It's not helping anybody. Well, it's helping these rich sons of bitches that are paying our politicians. You know, they're the ones making out. Nobody else is. And Tom Stiers is one of the major players in all this. It's with Stiers' various green energy investments, these rate increasing plans are good for him, but bad for everyone else, especially those who can least afford it. I mean, the rates are going up that people are choosing between paying, their mortgage and paying their electric bill. If I could, I would put a freaking windmill in my backyard just for the fact that I can create so much energy that I would be getting a check from the energy company. And a lot of states have that. But because I live in an HOA, I'm not allowed to. Which is funny, They're allowed to make these anti-green laws. Let me tell you, someone puts a wind generator on their property. Hey, that's their right. That's their right. Good for them. They're not that bad when it's a single house. But when you're trying to create the energy for multiples, you got to put up a shitload of them to be able to handle the energy consumption of all those houses. And the one thing one of the times I went up to in-laws, they live in the Poconos, we flew in. And I'm driving and going through the mountain region, and it's beautiful. All of a sudden, on top of one of the mountain regions, there's these 6 huge-ass windmills. And it just destroyed the environment, this beautiful mountainous skyline. Yes, it's creating energy, but it destroyed the Pocono Mountains. Anybody that knows anything about the Pocono Mountains, it was always a country setting. The mountains, the trees, and wildlife. And here's these, there was 6 of them that I could see, massive wind generators. And I was just like, holy shit, whose dumb idea was that? And I was talking to a couple of the locals. I stopped for gas, and they said, yeah, a lot of people were for it, but once they saw them up, and now that the cost of energy has gone up, they're kind of against it. It's killing the wildlife. It's killing all these birds. They're against it. They didn't know all the side effects. They were told that their energy was going to get lower, that it wouldn't be an eyesore, which they are. It's alternative energy is not ready for use. It is something we need to look into for future and try to perfect it, but it's not ready yet. It's not financially feasible yet. Solar panels, they're not ready for usage yet on a home. They got to replace them every 5-10 years. You got to replace the damn things. You got a constant maintenance, and if your house catches fire, you can't have the firefighters won't be going on your roof. Number one, it's a trip hazard. Number two, you can't shut those panels off. It is a constant live electricity, which then hampers firefighting ability, because you can't be spraying water where there's electricity, because it will put those firefighters on their ass, can kill them. So people are losing their houses to fire because they had solar panel on top of their house. And they didn't think of the trip hazard, or that it's a constant live feed. So there's a lot of negatives that are going on that no one's talked about and no one's willing to talk about. And it's another point of this green energy is not ready. It's not financially feasible. Because they're not cheap. Yeah, we have government funding, you can put in for programs here in the United States that gives you money back for putting them on your roof. But that continuous cost that comes with it, they don't pay for that. You have to pay for that. And that's what the companies say they make. They don't make money off of the initial installation. It's that maintenance that has to be kept up on them. That's where these companies make their money. Tom Steyer, he's out for himself. And I don't give a shit what he says, because his actions are speaking louder than his words. He's making money off of all this. He wouldn't be spending $100 million on election if he didn't know he was going to make that $100 million back easily, plus whatever on top of it. And we're seeing it heavily within the Obama administration. And what's funny is even liberals are seeing it now, and they're getting a little pissed. They're understanding that this government was not that transparent as they talked about. It's not this uncorrupted policies, that there is a lot of corruption and pay-to-play type deals going on with this administration that we currently have. It just... He's targeting with predatory loans for solar panels through a Kilowatt Financial Company, a company that lists him as a manager on corporate documents, which goes by the KWF, who recently merged with Clean Power Finances and became Spruce. The financing structure used, according to the Washington Journal, allows homeowners to get solar systems at no upfront costs and then to pay monthly for the use of the power generated. Homeowners ended up saving on their total electricity use, while financing companies get steady revenues for 20 years. WSJ points out that KWF financing can be offered to people who couldn't be approved otherwise. And this man is making money off the policies that he's pushing. Otherwise, he would not be spending the money. I don't care how charitable you are. You're not going to pump out that kind of money. And with that, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
To Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, trying to make sense out of the senseless. But thank God the Jersey expansion is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Click on the chat room button. If you want to be part of the show, it's very easy. Go to shrmedia.com. Click on the chat room button. That's all you have to do. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a live stream, that's even easier. Just go to Reaver.one. That is REAVER.ONE. Click on the live stream. Don't forget to hit subscribe. And if you want to support the show or support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one. Click on the Reaver store. I mean, we can't make it any easier. It's just a little bit of clicking. So, we're talking about Tom Stiers, and he's doing all of it, he says, in the name of the environment for global warming. Well, anybody with half a brain knows global warming is the biggest Ponzi scheme, pyramid scheme, whatever you want to call it, their cult-like activity. And he has this a financial company that he's listed as a quote-unquote corporate manager. And in the KWF model, contract payments come from homeowners and create a steady and reliable income stream, part of which is owned by its venture investor, which is weird. You usually buy into solar panels to do away with a monthly energy bill. So what's now happening is you're trading in having coal power electricity or a nuclear power for a monthly payment for having solar panels. So you're still paying for the energy that you put the solar panels on to do away with the payments. This gives the financial institution 20 years of payments, steady payments. And you still pay for energy. It's weird. But part of the venture is owned by investors. And the arrangement, KWF chairman and chief executive Pilmer said Klein Perkerman will make a lot of money. Apparently, the money to be made is from selling the loans that are then scrutinized on Wall Street, much like the subprime mortgage crisis that offered loans to people who could not qualify with traditional lenders. KWF's website brags, "We support financing terms for almost every customer and provide ways for dealers to participate in pricing process to generate even more approvals and create even lower consumer rates. Instant approvals even for customers with low credit scores, and same as cash and deferred payment offers. In these type of payment plans, a low rate is usually offered in the beginning and increases retroactively if any of the terms of the loans are not met. In this model, the homeowners don't actually own the solar system, which means KWF receives the benefit of a federal tax incentive, such as the 30% federal income tax credit designed to benefit the owner of the solar system. It is practices like this that have drawn several congressional Democrats sent a letter to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that warned about the similarities between the solar industry and what led to the subprime mortgage crisis. Easy initial financial terms, increased demand, and a rapid expanding industry. These factors create a high-risk potential that could ultimately be harmful to consumers. Similarly, Republicans sent a letter to the Federal Trade Commission that noted pressure from Wall Street is reportedly leading companies who use potential deceptive sale tactics, which doesn't sound like it is something that is good for everyone. So tell me, is Stiers out for himself, or is he out for the environment? Yet it is these very types of financial products promoted by Steyer's Kilowatt Financial that Green Tech Media reports are doing well. While Steyer claims he wants to give everyone a fair shake, his pet policy increases costs for everyone and offers a handshake for Wall Street. Steyer and his billionaire's buddy win. Everyone else loses. This is how the green energy crony corruption scandal works. And it's not just with solar power. We have the Tesla car, which has not taken off. The costs are God knows. And we have a government agency, or administration, I should say, that is trying to force everybody to buy these cars when its production is not scalable to the amount of people that would have to buy them. And the cost is so exorbitant that no one could afford them except the rich. Which is also is something that was being pushed by one of Obama's administration cronies of only certain people should allow to have cars. We should all be forced to move into cities and take public transportation. Nobody should be driving their own vehicles. Hence, creating a government public transportation system, controlling how and where people go, at what cost. No one would have the freedom of being able to go where they want, when they want. And you would control where people live, how they live. But Tesla is now, it's being reported, used illegal foreign labor to expand a California plant. First Digital Bay Area News Group investigate reporters have accused Tesla Motor of employing foreign contract laborers at $5 per hour, 10 hours a day, 6 days a week to expand its government-subsidized California auto plant. In 2009, the U.S. Department of Energy loaned Tesla Motor $465 million to open a plant for all-electric Model S vehicles. Despite the $1 billion traditional automakers were paying to build and equip new auto plants, Tesla acquired the bankrupt General Motors' new United Motor Manufacturing Incorporated plant in Fremont, California for $42 million. And in 2010, the company received another $20 million worth of saleable California corporate income tax credits to acquire the plant's factory presses and other machinery for $17 million, and buy other equipment at a fraction of the original cost. Although Tesla Motors has been unprofitable since opening the Fremont plant, it has collected $517 million selling government-mandated environmental credits to competing automakers and others. The cash has been used to fund operating losses, build out sales distribution, and add to the manufacturing facilities. This is a government-funded, government-run automotive plant. And who's paying for it? The American people. Do we want that? Well, I would say no. I would say the majority of the people don't want. If the people wanted it, there would be demand, and this company would be able to survive on its own. It wouldn't need handouts, nonstop handouts from the government. I mean, it's looking at close to $1 billion given to it by the government. But then it turns around, being almost a government entity, and it's employing this. Now, remember, this is the same administration that is pushing $15, $20 an hour wages, and they are paying illegal immigrants $5 an hour and forcing them into 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's slave labor. That is a company that's being funded by the government and using slave wage. So you tell me, is it better to have free market, capitalism, or to have government-funded companies that seem to be able to do whatever they want. This is Obama's administration that has turned its head to activities like this. Because if it was a capitalist company, sure as hell Obama's administration would know about it and would be sending DOJ after it. But it seems that they're protected by our government officials. But many Californians are shocked to learn that Tesla has been able to accomplish all of this without being forced to sign contracts with the United Auto Workers Union. And several of these unions are getting a little testy with Obama's administration because they're screwing up contracts that would go to these union workers. We're having a massive amount of union workers out of work because the same government administration that they helped put in office is now bending over those union workers. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, you need to look up that expression. We have been at a point now that Obama would turn his back on anybody and everybody at any moment as long as it pushes his legacy. And we were laughed at from a lot of these groups on the left. And this isn't the first time that the union has gotten pissed off at the administration. Keystone Pipeline. The building of that pipeline would have been a huge union contracts. But yet, it doesn't look like there is a Keystone Pipeline that's going to be built. So how many jobs were lost there? How many jobs have been lost to Tesla that would have been union workers? But now you have illegal aliens working there at a $5 an hour rate. But a lawsuit from an injured construction worker on the Fremont plant has exposed Tesla as hiring a foreign contractor in 2015 to ship 140 workers from impoverished Croatia and Slovenia to build a new paint shop at Tesla's Fremont plant. The Bay Area News Group, after a dozen employees' interviews and extensive review of the contractor's payroll, visas, and court documents, concluded that the Eastern European contract employees work long hours for low wages, an apparent violation of immigration and labor laws. The contractor for Linsky of Slovenia allegedly claimed on his application for a United States B-1, B-2 for non-immigrant visa for tourism and business that he would be a management supervisor for a California auto manufacturing plant. Although the federal law governing B-1, B-2 visa specifically states, these provisions do not apply to an alien seeking to perform building or construction work, whether on-site or in plant. Gregory Lesnick was shipped directly to Fremont, California, where he allegedly worked 140 Eastern Europeans being paid $5 per hour and a 10-hour day, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week as laborers to build Tesla's paint shop. This is our government-backed company. And again, it still has yet to pull a profit. It's not selling the cars as much as it would like. There is, how it's staying afloat is they have people that have paid for cars that they won't see the car for another year or two. And a bunch of people have signed on for that. But then, once that comes about, they'll be broke again. And they're going to have to figure out how to do it again. They have no dealerships, as we're used to. And you can't go into a place and buy a car straight off the lot. This is something the American people are being pushed into and not wanting. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverbcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe. I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless, and it's a tiring task. I guess you could say it's a Herculean task. Well, it is the last segment of the show, and don't forget tonight at 8 p.m., right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, till 9 p.m., you have the Southside Mutts, hosted by the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash. It is two idiots insulting each other, talking about politics. And I find it funny because everybody wants to talk about how they're smart. I have a college degree. I'm much more smarter than you. And then you have me and dipshit that act like two morons. And, you know, people kind of like that. We are more down to earth. And let me tell you, we're not uneducated. We do have college education. We'd be college educated. We just don't have our nose in the cloud and think we're better than anybody else. On the contrary, we just live life and have fun. And we learn to laugh at ourselves. And that's one of the things I taught him as an EMT that was taught to me. Learn to laugh at yourself. Learn to have a little fun. Learn to laugh, period. Otherwise, you won't last long in EMS. It's a very stressful job, and you got a lot of people that are getting into it, and it's ruining the whole career because they don't have the passion, they don't have the drive, so they don't have the desire. They don't care about the field. I mean, there's a lot of people here in Hillsborough County that are working for Hillsborough County Fire, which is your ambulance and fire both, and they don't care about the job. They want the benefits. They're looking at the pension only. They don't care about taking care of patients. They don't care about helping those in need. I've seen them at fire scenes scuffing their feet like children that have been chastised. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. When I first moved down here, there was a lieutenant I got talking to that I was working one of the local hospitals, and I was trying to keep a low key on who I was, and he kind of found out who I was and my background, and we got talking more and more, and he was begging me to apply. He wanted somebody like me, but I knew I wouldn't last 5 minutes in an environment like that. Go through all that process, and I would not. Jenna just put in the chat room, if you can't laugh at herself, call her and she'll laugh at you for you. That's messed up, but funny. Because I knew I would not be able to. I was working at a transport company, and we did 911 on the BLS side. And I pissed off one of their guys so much, and I was following by the rules that he almost swung on me. He almost literally swung. His captain, I think it was, had to step in and to it. And I'm sitting there laughing and smiling because I knew I was in the right, and his captain knew I was in the right. And we were talking because I turned around with the patient. I hadn't taken authority from him, and well, he was a paramedic and I'm an EMT, and he was playing this power trip. So it was like, fine, you load the fucking patient into my rig. Well, that's your job. No, I haven't taken the handoff yet. He stole your patient, and you're the paramedic. You're the higher ranking. I was like, so you go ahead and load the patient. I'm not. And his captain looked at him and said, you're the one that shot your mouth off, that you're the paramedic. You're in charge. Well, you can lift the patient then. And I'm sitting there laughing because his captain is siding with me. You know, and all I did was ask a couple of questions I knew the doctors would be asking me. See, the problem is he worked on the fire truck, and he didn't go into the hospitals that much, and he didn't know the full aspect of the job. So he didn't understand that I'd be questioned by the doctor, and because of his treatment of what he did, I would be the one catching the shit for it. So I needed to be able to explain his actions to the doctor. And he didn't like it. He thought I was questioning his authority. And what it all came down to was a gentleman who was at a bar drinking, got hit in the head, took off running 2 blocks to call the cops and call an ambulance. So the guy's drunk off his ass, slurring his words. The paramedic immediately went to, he has head injury, neck injury, mummified the poor guy with, gauze wrapping up this little bump on his head. And almost called a goddamn trauma on the poor guy. So I show up and ask, why is this guy mummified and on backboard collar and all that? And the paramedic firefighter didn't like it. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Well, why do you think the guy has a neck and brain injuries? He's slurring his words. Asshole, he was at a bar drinking, and I turned around, I was like, sir, how much do you have to drink? You know, it doesn't affect, I don't care, you're not going to get in trouble. Oh, I had about 6 shots of vodka and about 12 beers. I was like, geez, and I'm wondering why he's slurring his words. Well, he's got the bump on the head. Sir, what'd you get hit with? What do you mean? Was it just a fist? Did the guy use a bar, a chair? Oh, he just hit me in the head once with his fist, and I took off running. Oh, so you were able to run 2 blocks. Yeah, you don't have a neck injury, but I can't take you out of the mummified stuff because jackass already did it. And he was getting pissed off at me about it. I'm like, why did you do all this? Well, protocol states, and it was like, protocol does not state act like an idiot. So I knew I wouldn't be able to last 5 minutes in Hillsborough County Fire. These people don't know how to practice medicine. They know what the book tells them to do. And the book is a guideline. It gives them a basic idea of how to treat, because the books are written primarily on a 21-year-old male, approximately 6 foot, something like 175 pounds, and perfect health and perfect shape. Now, how many patients do you actually think that EMS comes across in that aspect? Probably once in a lifetime you might see that. I saw it the first call I ever had because it was for a university in my town. And it was a basketball player that jumped up and wasn't paying attention and smacked his head against the rim and knocked himself out. So I actually got someone that was very tall and very good health and all that. But that was the one time out of my whole career. No, I also had the cheerleader that fell off the top of the pyramid and broke her back. It's you have to gauge. Respect my authority. For some reason, I always go more to Beavis and Butthead. But yeah, it takes a special person, and too many liberals after 9/11, they saw all the medals and accommodations that were handed out to the firefighters and EMS that dealt with that day. So now all of a sudden they want to be a part of it, but they don't want to have anything, the tradition or anything else that came before it. The hazing that would happen at firehouses to the day you became a full-fledged firefighter, it was nasty, but it taught you, number one, it was a sense of belonging, and I was able to handle whatever was thrown at me on a fire scene, because when you're at a fire scene or EMS scene, you're not exactly polite. You are barking out commands. You don't have time to explain your commands as an officer. You need it done and followed without question. So when you're back at the firehouse and stuff, they're ragging on you. Part of it is, them just having fun with a newbie. And the other part is it's teaching you a little bit of authority. It teaches you to just shut your mouth and do what's being told. You don't have time on these scenes. And now you got all these liberals jumping into the career. And a lot of that hazing and harassment that would go on, if you want to call it that, it's not allowed to be done anymore. So now you're having, on these fire scenes, you're getting people that drag their feet literally and don't want to enter burning buildings. They don't want to endanger themselves. Oh, my God, if I got hurt, no, I'm not here for that. And that is the liberal mindset. Everything about them, and they don't give a shit about anybody else. They don't give a rat's ass. Whereas myself and Crash, we have put our bodies on the line so that others may live. I know every morning when I wake up, I'm in great pain for each area that is hurting. I know there's somebody that's alive that wouldn't be without my help. I know that tirade was really off subject and had nothing to do with any news or politics, but it's what I see nowadays, and it kind of describes exactly what's going on in at least America, what's going on in the United States. It's this me first and screw everybody else type mentality. And it gets on my nerves with that. Here I am, disabled, and I'm still trying to help people. I'm still giving everything that I can to try to help. And you just have the left going, gimme, 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 free, 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 free. And, you know, that's not what America is based on. And I love seeing immigrants coming to this country legal and going through the American dream and trying to become something they never could be in their country. You know, you get the Indians coming here, the Slurpee type, not the type, and in their country, they're locked into a certain type of lifestyle that they can never advance to. Here in America, they can become whatever they want as long as they work hard and do, put their nose to the grindstone. But that's going to be the end of the show, and thank you, ladies, for being in the chat room. I know I didn't bring up a lot of what you were talking about today. I'm honored to have my girls in the chat room. It shows that people actually want to listen to what I have to say. And I know people tuning in, it's an honor, because without you, I have no show. Without people tuning in, I wouldn't be here. So I want to thank you, and don't forget tonight, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, will be the Southside Mutt Show, and I'll see you then. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.